Welcome back to another episode of the Dugout Talk podcast presented by O'Brien Performance Baseball. This week we have episode 8 with Pete O'Brien from Mind Bats. How are you today?
Good. Thanks a lot, Scott. Looking forward to talking to another Irishman tonight.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're very excited about this one. We've had this on the books for a couple weeks now, and can't say enough about what I've seen from the company so far. So if you just want to kind of just give a brief overview of how you got involved and started Mind Bats, that'd be great.
Yeah, great. So I'm 58 years old, so I'm about twice as old as you, Scott. And I've been in the wood business for over 30 years. Actually, before that, I started working lumber yards and did construction, built homes and everything since I was starting off about 12 years old. So I've always worked in the wood business. And over those years, started my other business when I was 28. And we do wood product importation and product development in countries all over the world. So we have programs going to Italy, we have programs going in Germany, Brazil is a new program, Turkey, and we provide products to the U.S., mostly cabinet furniture industry, all wood related. I've been doing that for a long time. And so about 25 years ago, I started a program with a company called Manelli in Europe, and they're the most sophisticated wood kind of manufacturing company in the world, really. It's been in business since 1937. They have 250 employees. They have 25 guys in research and engineering and product development. So we introduced a kitchen program out of European Beach 20 some years ago and developed a relationship that way. My sons have lived there and worked in factories in Italy. My son spent a year there. His son from my partner there spent a year with us. And so we built this deep relationship. And so back in about 2005, the Italian baseball leagues were getting strong and they were importing bats from Korea, Japan, US. And so these guys started to do a study about making a great baseball bat. So they determined through a lot of engineering and study and technical data that European beech just makes a great wood bat. Today it was hickory for a long time, and then that kind of went. You can't get the wood, so then it went to ash for a long time. And in the early 2000s, Louisville introduced maple, and they were a great product because it's hard and you're hitting bombs with it, but there's a lot of issues with maple related to multi-fracture, breakage. And so it got introduced into MLB with not a lot of research back then. And it's a great bat and you can't take it out of somebody's hands, but there was a lot of problems with it. You probably remember the shards and all that. So they did a long study. They wanted to introduce it into the US market. So 2015, I said, okay, guys, if you can get MLB approval, I'll take it and run with it and build a company here. So they did that in 2015. It took a long time to get approved by MLB now because of the issues they have with maple. You actually have to have 45 pitches, 140 miles an hour with a pitching machine and a batting machine, and you can only get one break.
Right.
And they learned from MLB that the straighter the grain, it helps and all that. So we got that passed. We introduced 2016. We got approved by MLB to provide European beech bats, and that's kind of how we launched. And since then, there's been a lot of changes, and we're super excited now because it's really starting to blow up.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you said that your like say parent company or whatever that you guys started a relationship with, or that partner company, is that kind of where the Mind? Obviously, the names are similar. Is that where the Mind name came from? Just to kind of
yeah. So the company is called Manelli, and they're my business partners. They manufacture all the product for us. So Mind initially kind of comes from Manelli, Mind, but it also there's a kind of slang in Italian, mine, which is a slang word for explosion. And then they put the original logo was a diamond. And so, high quality diamond, baseball, that. So we ran with that brand and we had nice acceptance in MLB. That's how we met Prince Fielder in his last couple of years in the league. He loved our products. His quote is, feels like a trampoline coming off the bat because beech is similar to ash in the way it breaks, and it's also similar to ash in the flex, but it's actually harder than maple. So you get a little bit of best of both worlds. So then Prince got hurt, and we actually pulled out of MLB because we decided to build the base from the ground up instead of the top down.
Mhm.
And it's pretty expensive to be an MLB. You got to buy a big insurance policy, mainly because the maple bats were blown up, and so you have to have an insurance policy, and then there's a fee. So about a year after we pulled out, I just reached out to Prince through social media, and we were not friends by any means at the time, but we connected. He loved our product, and I said, "Hey, we're launching a new model, or excuse me, new models. We're launching new logos, and we're kind of, you know, restarting the program, and you want to get involved?" And so he did, and he became a 10% shareholder of the company.
It's awesome.
Got an endorsement agreement. He's the face of our brand. He's been a great partner. He's a savant of the game. And we relaunched. And then in 2019, we really made a push. And then 2020, there was no baseball.
Right.
So we kind of regrouped. I got an amazing team, a bunch of young guys like you. And we're taking kind of a Tesla model. You know, we're not going to offer everything under the radar. We're going to have amazing products, limited models, you know, for speed, balance and loaded power, max power, that type of thing. A few color options. We just want to provide a great product. And so it's really starting to go. And then in 2020, we decided, you know what, let's take a look at this branding. Let's take a look at where we are. And we decided to take a relook at the logos and all that stuff, and kind of come at it from a different angle, more of a startup. One of our investors, he's 30 years old, and he worked for Twitter. He worked for Square. He did work at Ramsey, not Facebook, but Twitter. And so we just have a different approach to the market. It's a direct to consumer market mainly through it. So baseball is very traditional, and we respect that, you know, but we also think, you know, times change, and there's a chance for kind of a new look. And our philosophy is just let's just make the greatest product. Like you had mentioned, it feels great in your hands. It's got great balance. It's got a great feel. So one of the big advantages that we have with our partner in Italy is they make the most expensive rifle stock in the world. So if you have a Weatherby gun that's a $10,000 gun, or Benelli's and Berettas, they make those products, and so they do amazing finishes. And then they also the largest paintbrush handle manufacturing company in the world. They sell Home Depot, Lowe's, and everything. I could show you a video, everything they do. So what we get to do with them is we get to take the beech wood.
Yeah.
We just select out the best wood for our bats, and then what doesn't make a great wood, straightest grain, all that stuff for bats, they just use it for paintbrush handles. They use it for axe handles. They use it for all these things. So the finishes that we can do some crazy stuff. I'll show you a couple of things that we can do here. First of all, I'll show you our main product. So this is our new youth bat. I think you got one in your back.
The black one here, yeah.
It's kind of a dark blue, but the finish, if you feel it, this is we call it a diamond touch finish.
Yep.
It's super smooth. So, you know, people don't have to use, you know, stick them and all that stuff. And then all the original bats, like I'm not sure about the brown one we had a natural soft touch. We did oiled. They were that whole finish. Then after talking to Prince, he's like, you know, this is a super hard finish here, but people have a perception about softness. So we changed this to a 40 sheen, really hard finish. When you take that youth bat to the cage, super hard to mark it up. Mm-hmm. But that's our standard. So we have our red power bats for youth. We have our dark blue speed bats for youth. But we can do some crazy things. This right here is our flag bat. Okay.
Yep.
This is hand painted with 7 layers of finish on it. They're each individually, one is hand painted. These are not for play. Okay. So
no, it doesn't look like it should be.
These actually on the coin that we're going to talk about in a minute, the coin, we're making 1,776 of these bats for 1776, obviously. Yep. Each one's going to be numbered 1 through 1776 or all the way up. They're limited edition. bats. They're numbered, and then on the coin it says, with our logo, it says 1 of 1776. Never forget.
Yep.
And it's got our logo, and these are incredible. I mean, people, these are blown up. So these are all hand painted. We're bringing them in 100 at a time, and then we can do crazy stuff like this. This is a solid gold paint,
That's
7
nice.
layers of finish.
Yeah.
And these, again, these are bats you probably wouldn't use, but our main offering is like this. So this is a bat for Prince. You can, I don't know if you can see the
Yep.
logo in there. So this particular bat, when we go back to MLB, it'll be a two-tone bat like this.
Yep.
With ink dots and all that. So, and, you know, that's where we are with the product. It's like super high quality and super balanced.
No, yeah, I like the double finish on that red one, the youth one. Like you said, that has
Yeah.
that kind of that rough feel on the bottom. So like I said, the kids that don't have to use the tiger stick or whatever that, or pine tar or whatnot, that saves. Because then what I found, because I used to use pine tar myself, because there wasn't, like you said, there wasn't really many of those on the market when I was playing. What I would do, I would just load that middle up with pine tar, and then it would get dull, and then you just add more, add more, add more. So then you're putting so much more weight that's unneeded on the bat. Where if you keep it balanced like you guys from the start, you're perfect going forward.
Yeah, so the youth bets is a super interesting thing for us. It's very, you know, as you know, you teach young kids. So a kid from 6, 7 years old is using a 20-inch bat with a 10 drop, 18-ounce bat. And that's what they have to play with, right? And as they grow, they go up to 31s and maybe drop 7s, drop 5s. The problem, and believe me, I owned a baseball bat factory in the US, trying to work with ash and maple. It's almost impossible to get a 10 drop because they're just too brittle.
Right.
And they're not balanced and that type of thing. So we've been able to develop a drop 10 and a drop 7, and the new ones are drop 5. And then of course our standards are drop 3. So we could take a kid. I have some videos, you've probably seen it on our social, where these kids are 6 years old swinging our little 28-inch bats that weigh 18 ounces. It's like a bottle of Coke, you know? And those kids can stay with us all the way through.
Right.
College, pros, whatever. The way we do that is you've got a bat there, but you know, we're able, because of the beach and the technology, we're able to put a pretty big hole in here. Tappan, who is going to be on tonight, we've all been working from like 4 a.m. till 12 every night. He's worn out today, but he's 26 years old. He took one of our youth bats to the cage the other night. It's a pretty nice pitches, and we just can't break it. You know, kids not going to break that bat. So now, and the other thing is because they don't break as often, we have a 6-month warranty. I don't know any other bat company that has 6-month warranty.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
So we started off with 30 days, and then several people copied us, and then we watch our breakage. We're running about 2% breakage, and then we went to 3 months, and it was about 2% breakage, and we went to 6 months. And by next year, if we're still at 2% breakage, we'll have a year warranty. So you're going to pay a little bit more for the bat.
Yep.
But you get to use it your whole season, basically.
Yeah, no, I think you guys are at a good price point now, because I think you were saying with the new relaunch, you guys have that kind of the stock. You guys are stocked up on with the older logo, and then obviously moving forward with the relaunch, going up a little bit, but it's still a great price point, I believe, for a wood bat that's going to last you, like you said, your whole season without 2% breakage is unheard of, I think, in the market. So
yeah, so the Mine bats with the old logo like you have there, that those are great bats. So there's nothing wrong with the bats. We just changed the logo. So we're selling those at 89, and you can use our discount code and get them for like $71. The new bats with the new logos and new branding will be able on the premium bats we have are 149. Well, a super high-end premium bat now is 179.
No, for sure.
And then the youth bats, you could buy a youth bat from $50 to $89.
Yeah.
Our bats are 129, but there's a whole different game behind it. You know, we're using premium wood, and but we'll give you a 6-month warranty, so a kid can use it his whole season, and he's going to get great performance out of it, and that's the difference.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we can back up into that the quality of the wood. So can you touched on it a little bit, the European beechwood compared to maple, ash, and all the like hickory and stuff like that.
Yeah, so if you look on some of our Instagram stuff, you'll see the density charts. So ash is the lowest density product for hardness. Maple is a little bit above that, and beech is a little bit above that. The advantage to ash is it's flexible and they break, but when they break in two pieces.
Right.
Maple is got a lot less flex and it's hard, so if you can really hit a bomb with it. But when they break, they break in multi-fracture type break.
Yep.
Our product is a little bit in between. It's about 10% harder, and it's got probably 15% more flex. The big advantage is in the US, maple, so ash has got a big problem because there's a beetle bat borer ash problem. It's a diseased tree, it's dying out. Environmentalists don't want to cut it anymore. It's kind of going the way hickory that used to be. Maple's plentiful, but maple's used for cabinets, furniture, and maple costs have gone through the roof here in the last couple of years, almost 3 times what they cost for the wooden billets, 5 years ago. So beech in Europe and Romania and Albania and all those Eastern Europe companies grows like weeds, and it's been certified forestry for 25 years. So every tree you cut down, you plant two. So it's very available, but it's a very difficult product to work with. I mean, beech is hard to dry. There's all these techniques. So our partner's been doing this for 80 years.
Right.
So the supply chain is very difficult. It's a long supply chain. So if I wanted to buy maple billets, I could get them in a month or 2 months. I'm talking about 6, 8, 10 months that I have to buy this wood in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a challenging supply chain, but we have it worked out. So yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, no, I agree. I've seen that dense chart, and that's crazy. And like you said, it's got more flex than the maple does too, which is nice. Because a lot of the kids I work with don't like the stiffness that those wood bats can bring. And like you said, obviously you guys now have, like I said, I don't think I've seen a drop tent youth wood bat in my lifetime. And then I got one over here now, so but I've only seen as low as drop 7. And then obviously those kids are using that in the off season, and it's not really transitioning them well when they're still young into using that metal bat that's a drop 10. If you're swinging something that's a drop 10 in the cage wood bat just to preserve your metal bat for the year, I think you're good to go. And like you said, I haven't seen one of those in my life. So,
well, one thing, if you pick that bat up, you'll see that it's got a barrel. That's a fairly big barrel bat. Okay. You can buy 10 years ago, you can buy a Rawlings drop 7 bat, and it's almost as skinny as that handle.
Right.
So we're putting a very nice size barrel on there so the kid can hit it, but we take the weight out in the knob. If you try it in the barrel, you try to do that with a maple bat, they just explode.
Right.
So these red ones here. So the way we do our models, we do speed, power, speed, balance, power. That's our speed bat. So the blue ones are all speed. We have them between 28 and 31 inches long. They're all drop 10s.
Yep.
And then this one here is our power bat. These are drop 7s, and same thing, 28, 31. Then we have drop 5s, which are 31, 32. Yep. And then you move into our standard bats, 32 on up. So, and they're all these big barrel bats. And so a kid can learn how to actually hit the ball.
Right. No, that's cool. No, this is an amazing bat. So I loved, I like the branding, how you guys went to this more I wouldn't say generic, more of a minimalistic type look compared to the diamond with the mine with the diamond on the top. I'm really digging this. Can you kind of give where this kind of came from? Obviously, you guys are looking to relaunch a little bit of a rebrand a little bit too, but was there anything behind it?
Oh, there's a lot behind it. So Prince Fielder had a lot to do with this. So he actually liked the old brand, but I'm getting old. Everybody's getting old, and the young guys saying, "Hey, we gotta update this." So we hired a very professional logo company that's what they do, and they gave us 100 options. But initially, the M was a little bit more bold, and it was inside the diamond. Okay.
Right.
So if you look at this logo, the M is outside the diamond. And Prince was basically telling us, he says, we can make wood bats, we can make hockey sticks, we can make cricket sticks. We can make lots of things. We actually are working on a compound bow, the wood for compound bows. I'm a bow hunter. And he said, we have to have the M outside the diamond. That means that we're in baseball, okay? But it doesn't mean we'll only be in baseball. So that's where the idea of outside the diamond. If you look at the bottom here,
Yep.
this little diamond on the bottom, it just represents quality, that's where that little diamond comes from.
Yep.
And then M again stands for mine. It stands for Manelli, and it stands for explosion. So if you look at the end here, this is really unique. So every company has a sticker, they write on it and that type of thing. This is actually a wooden nickel, basically, like the old days, a wooden nickel.
Yeah.
And to make this geometry work between the routed out circle and the perfect wooden nickel and have that perfect in there, it's almost impossible. But because our partner makes every kind of wood product and that you can imagine, they had the technology. So what we could do with these wooden nickels, this is digitally printed on there. So the wood nickels come raw and we could put anything on there. So we could have O'Brien Performance baseball logo right there. We could put whatever you wanted on that information.
Right.
We can do custom. So everybody customizes bats. We're going to customize the nickel.
Right.
So all of our bats say, like this one says youth power 30 drop 7. So our standard bats will say speed 33 drop 3.
Right.
We can put anything on there. So the flag bats I talked to you about, they actually say on the end, it has our logo and it says one of 1776, never forget. And we're giving 10% of the proceeds to the wounded warriors for every one of these flag bats that we sell.
Yep.
So this allows us a lot of customization in mass production.
Correct.
So one last thing I'll tell you about that is we have the capability to make 100,000 bats next year. Nobody besides the big guys can do that.
Right.
The difference is we bring them in a huge volume. We ship everything in 24 hours.
Yep.
And if you want some customization, no problem. We'll make the wooden nickels. We'll put them in there and make that happen.
Yeah, no. So guys, for the guys listening, this is, like you said, the wood nickel. For anybody that knows baseball, you usually see either like a rubber insert that falls out within 3 swings, or you see a sticker that they slap on that within a couple games, it's all worn down. You can't really see it. And they do that for personalization between, college, MLB, you name it, youth and stuff like that. So this, like you said, to be able to get it with the geometry where it doesn't come out, it's a good quality customized thing. You can't scratch it off. I think this is where you guys kind of go above and beyond for the consumer, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's sweet.
That's just a collaboration between working till midnight, and talking to my guys in Italy at 8 in their time and saying, hey, how about we make a wooden nickel? Let's do it.
No, that's great. So do you guys use like a special machine that will cut this out for you and that's just all just straight up?
Yeah. So
computerized?
Again, no baseball bat company, even mine, would go out and spend this kind of money for machine. These are handmade machines. They could be as much as $400,000, but these machines make multiple things. Our partners make all the cutlery handles for Chicago Cutlery. They have all these little parts. It's all robotics. And so because we already have that equipment, we can do some of these things. And we're just trying to set ourselves apart and just make a super quality product that's different.
No, I agree. I think this is one of the top quality products I've seen in a while that's come to the market. I love this. I can't get over this thing. This is awesome. And like you said, you can customize it too, which is sweet. Like you said, you can do team. That's where are you guys looking to get into like wholesale a little bit too?
Yes, we are. We actually are in serious discussions with a very large retail sporting goods company right now.
That's awesome.
They want our whole line, and I'm just like, why don't we start with the youth? Because what I know through studies that we've done, you put these youth bats in there, kid's going to walk in there. They don't care if it's $129 at retail or the other one's $50. They're going to want that mine bat.
Right.
And so the only thing that's holding that up is they want the whole line. I just want to start with youth.
Right. No, for sure.
So we will definitely be in some national sporting goods programs. If I had my way, we'd start off with youth. If they have their way, we'll launch our full line.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So if you want to just talk about literally, we just kind of covered a few goals that you guys had, but is there a goal in mind that is really sticking out that you guys are looking to push on for 2021?
Not really. I mean, we're just trying to make a great product, and we are pushing more on the social media side than your typical traditional way to go to business. Tappan, who's our operations guy, who's 26, he's been doing great work on our social media. We just shot 3 hours of content last week at Michael Choice and Jerry Brown, ex players for the Rangers. They have a hitting academy. We shot 3 hours of great content with all the players hitting their bats, and so all that content's going to start coming up on Instagram here real soon by next week. That's it. Just spread the word and try to give you a great bat and give you a great warranty. And I can sell anybody on my bat, but it's about you. It's about the player.
Right. No, I agree. I think this is one of, like I said, this is top quality bat that I've seen on the market in a long time. So we'll kind of close up a little bit. So you guys were saying that you donate 10% of the proceeds from that flag bat to Wounded Warriors, correct?
Yeah. So the flag bat, which is this bat, these are hand painted in Italy,
Yep.
individually hand painted. And so again, these ideas come out of the blue. So we're like, they sent us a cool bat. That's cool. We post it on social and everybody's like, I want that bat, right?
Right.
So like, okay, what can we do with it? So, I mean, literally this bat right here, if I had to sell these at what they cost, it'd be $300-400.
Right.
So we worked with our partner and we said, hey, let's do something good here. And we came up with a price for the first 100 at $177.60 because it's 1770.
Yep.
And on the end on the coin, it says one of 1776 because these coins are digitally printed, so we can print one-offs.
Right.
On the bottom it says never forget. So then just a buddy of mine, he goes, I want some of those bats. Are you donating any of the proceeds to veterans? I'm like, hadn't thought about that, but absolutely, let's do it. So immediately we're like, okay, 10% of the proceeds. We're in contact with George W. Bush because he has a library at SMU. He's a big supporter of Wounded Warriors, and so we're getting them bats, and it's cool. I think we can raise $60,000 for Wounded Warriors this year. That's our goal.
That's awesome.
And one other thing we're doing it came because of Brian Chunk's podcast. I was contacted by the Base. Have you heard of the Base?
Mm-hmm.
So the Base is a program up in Boston. They have an urban situation where they're taking inner city kids. They have a $5 million facility. And these kids come in there, they've never had their own bat. It's crazy.
Right.
And they called me after Chunk's podcast, and he said, is there any way you'd be interested in being a bat sponsor? I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, well, we've reached out to everybody. Nobody wants to help us. I said, well, how do you get your bats? They said, well, a lot of MLB guys will donate their bats, and college guys. I'm like, don't take an MLB guy's bat and use it. Just get him to sign it and sell it on eBay for $50.
Get other bats.
I'm like, okay, well, we're closing out our older models. They're great bats. How many bats would you like? And he's like, well, we take 20. I said, well, how about I give you 140? He said, okay. And then I said, what about your other leagues? He goes, well, we got a league in Chicago. How many they got over there? So we're donating 400 bats to the Base.
That's awesome.
And they're also coordinating with other inner city urban leagues around the country.
Yep.
And we just made agreement with them. We're going to support them. So if a kid comes in there and he doesn't have his own bat, he's going to get one of our bats. That's it.
That's awesome.
And so I'm going up there to Boston and 23rd and 24th. We're having a media day. I'm taking 140 bats with me and Tappan, and we're super excited.
Awesome.
We have to give back, right?
No, of course.
And so, we're just going to go every day. We're going to make a great product. We're going to give some of the proceeds away and see where it goes.
That's awesome. No, yeah, for sure, guys. I'll link all of Pete and Mindbat's stuff in the description down below. I appreciate you hopping on. I know that it's crazy now. 2021 is ramping up, and you guys are pushing product like nobody's business here. And again, guys, check out their social media accounts. They have a lot. Like he said, he shot 3 hours of content last week that I'm sure is be coming out soon. And I'm excited to see where you guys are going. And I can't wait to test out these bats. I'm going to have a few college kids kind of demo them for me, and I'll put a video together and send it over to you guys.
Hey, if they break, don't worry. We'll send you another one.
Yeah, of course. Best warranty in the game, guys.
And put out a shout out to at the Base Baseball in Boston. It's a great organization.
Of course. Yeah, I'll put their stuff in there too, so we can get so much visual on that stuff as well. And I look forward to that media day, seeing you guys out there and stuff like that. And I appreciate you hopping on, man.
Thanks, Scott. Go Irish.